In a bustling courtyard in Ibadan, the Olowookere family had gathered for a meeting. The sun cast long shadows as Tunde, the youngest son, whispered to his sister, Kemi, "Have you seen our cousin Bola? He's been acting strange lately." Kemi nodded. "I saw him sneaking into Mama's room last night. Something's not right." Their conversation was cut short as Bola entered the courtyard, his smile too wide, his laughs too loud. "Ah, family, it's good to see everyone," he announced, throwing his arms open. The air was tense. Everyone felt it, but no one said a word. Inside the main living room, where the walls bore framed family photos, Kemi watched Bola closely. Mama wasn't just a mother. She was the cornerstone of the family, a woman of grace and wisdom. But now, she sat quietly, her frail hands clutched tightly in her lap. "Kemi, come sit beside me," Mama called, her voice barely above a whisper. Kemi obeyed, her eyes flickering toward Bola, who was engrossed in a conversation with the lawyer, Mr. Adebayo. Every so often he'd glance at Mama, then quickly look away. As dusk began to fall, casting orange ripples across the sky, Kemi cornered her mother in the kitchen. "Mama, I need to talk to you. It's about Bola. I think—" Mama shook her head. "Oh, Kemi, not today. I'm too tired." "But Mama—" "No," Mama insisted, turning back to the pots of jollof rice simmering on the stove. The aroma mixed with the tension in the air. Kemi bit her lip, stepping back in reluctant submission. 2 days later, Kemi sat on the veranda, the chatter of the family in the background muted as she replayed the conversation in her head. Bola's words to Mr. Adebayo had haunted her since. "I want to discuss Mama's will," Bola had said, in a tone too familiar, too assuming. Kemi felt the weight of suspicion grow heavier in her chest. Determined to find out more, Kemi quietly followed Bola the next evening. The path to Mama's room was lined with old wooden furniture that creaked with the house's age. As she approached, she heard snippets of conversation, Bola's voice, a woman's, and the soft murmur of assurance. Kemi's heart thudded in her chest, each step fueled by her growing apprehension. Standing just outside the slightly ajar door, Kemi saw Bola and his accomplice hunched over a piece of paper on Mama's old desk. "Just change it," Bola said, his voice a hushed urgency. "No one has to know. It's a win-win." Eyes widening, Kemi pulled out her phone, her hand trembling as she pressed record. The betrayal was clear, but she needed concrete proof. The next morning, Kemi's suspicions festered, bitter and corrosive, as she sat across from Mama at breakfast. She ached to tell her mother, but fear held her tongue. "What is on your mind, my child?" Mama asked, her wise old eyes peering into Kemi's troubled face. Kemi shook her head quietly, forcing a smile. "Nothing, Mama, just a bit tired." As midday approached, Kemi's resolve hardened. She had to take action. Waiting until her siblings left for their daily errands, she approached Mr. Adebayo. "There's something you need to hear," she said, handing him her phone with the recorded audio. His eyes widened as the recording played. "This is serious, Kemi, very serious," he murmured, his brow furrowing. That afternoon, with the sun blazing high, Mr. Adebayo convened a family meeting under the guise of legal discussions. As the family assembled once more, Kemi sat quietly, her heart pounding with the burden of truth. "Why are we all here?" Bola asked, his eyes darting nervously. "You'll see," Mr. Adebayo replied, his expression grave. Amidst the quiet murmur of anticipation and nervous eyes flicking back and forth, Mr. Adebayo stood. "There's something we must address before proceeding," he began, solemnity in every word. Kemi's fingers tightened around her lap as Mr. Adebayo played the recording. Bola's voice filled the room, his betrayal echoing off the walls. "Mama!" Bola cried, desperation creeping into his voice. "It's not what it seems!" But Mama, her usual composure shattered, stood up. "Bola!" Her voice rose above the clamor. "Is this true?" Bola faltered, his confidence crumbling. I just—" Eyes narrowed, hearts hardened. The family fell silent, judgment in their stares. Kemi watched the scene unfold, a strange mix of bitterness and satisfaction swirling within her. The same uncle who once praised her was now crumbling under the weight of his schemes. "Why, Bola?" Mama's voice was soft, but her words carried the weight of deep betrayal. I thought I needed to secure my future, Bola began, but Mama's fierce shake of the head silenced him. Your future, Mama echoed, her lips trembling with emotion. You thought ruining what we built as a family would secure your future? Bola slumped, all pretense falling away. I'm sorry. I thought it was the only way. Silence fell upon the room, a silence filled with more questions than answers. As the meeting dissolved, Kemi stayed back, her heart heavy with newfound burdens. Her family, once a united front, was now fractured. But there was something else, something unnoticed earlier. As they left, Kemi heard another snippet of conversation between Bola and his accomplice. A whisper of another name, another ally. The plot was deeper than she'd imagined. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Kemi stood alone on the veranda, her mind racing with the weight of what she had uncovered. The family trust, already fragile, was in pieces. Determined, she knew her fight was not over. There was more beneath the surface, more treachery to unearth. Her eyes steeled with resolve, her heart set on justice. Tomorrow she would delve deeper. Tomorrow the tables would turn. The night was heavy with the scent of rain, the kind that felt like it could wash away secrets or expose them under its relentless pour. Kemi stood on the veranda, her ears strained as Bola's voice reached her. Whispers of another ally, another betrayal. Her heart pounded with urgency. She hurried inside, her resolve growing with each step. Bola! She called, her voice stronger than she felt. The family gathered again quickly, their faces etched with confusion and leftover hurt. There's more you haven't told us. Who else is involved? Bola's face paled. His eyes darted around the room like a cornered animal. Kemi, enough with your wild accusations. This is madness, he spat defensively. But Kemi wasn't backing down. The stakes were too high now. She turned to Mama, eyes pleading. Mama, we have to know the truth. Our family deserves it. Mama considered her daughter for a moment, then nodded slowly, turning to Bola. My son, you owe all of us that much. Truth, Bola. We'll not move forward without it. Bola sank into a chair, his facade crumbling. It was never meant to go this far, he began, his voice barely a whisper. I thought it was for the best. And who is they? Tunda chimed in, arms crossed, face a mix of disappointment and disbelief. It's Ayo. She convinced me it was the right thing to do. Bola confessed, shame weighing every syllable. Gasps rippled through the room. Ayo, a trusted family advisor, had always been close to Mama. The betrayal cut deeper than anyone had anticipated. How could Ayo do this? Kemi asked, blinking back tears. Mama always trusted her. We all did. Bola's head hung low. I was foolish. I let greed and fear cloud my judgment. For the first time, amidst the chaos and pain, Tondi spoke gently. Bola, you must make this right. Not just for Mama, but for yourself. Bola looked up, meeting his brother's eyes. There was no accusation there, only a plea for redemption. The room fell silent, the weight of expectation settling heavily on his shoulders. I don't know how, Bola admitted, voice cracking. The room was thick with tension. Silence hovered, broken only by the distant roll of thunder. Kemi's heart ached for a resolution, for some semblance of peace restored. Then, softly, old Papa Adebisi, the family patriarch, spoke from the corner where he had been silent. We have forgotten the importance of seeking God's wisdom in times like this, he began, his voice a gentle reprimand. Christ teaches forgiveness, even when it's hardest. Kemi's eyes met old Papa's, his words pulling her from her darker thoughts. They had all been so consumed with anger and the need for justice, but had forgotten the deeper truth. Mama took a deep breath, looking first at Bola, then at the rest of her children. We have been hurt deeply, she started, her voice strong yet tender. But we cannot let this pain lead us. We must turn to God, let Him heal and guide us. The family murmured in agreement, their resolve mingled with the pain of recent revelations. Bola's face was streaked with guilt and uncertainty. A dawning realization began to pull him from the abyss of his wrongdoing. I want to make things right, he declared quietly yet firmly. You must stop this scheme, Tunde urged. You and Ayo, return what was taken. And seek Ayo out, Mama added. Talk to her, let her see the damage done. Bola nodded, though his heart raced with anticipation and dread. Ayo had been his confidant in wrongdoing, but he could see now how their choices had led him astray. Together, he whispered, mostly to himself, we can undo this damage. Kemi reached for his hand, a silent gesture of support. We'll face it as a family, she assured. With the next day came the resolve to put words into action. Bola approached Ayo, his heart heavy with the burden of their shared deceit. Ayo, he said, standing firm yet hesitant outside her house. We need to talk. Her eyes flitted nervously. Bola, what will you say? The truth. We must tell Mama everything, Bola proposed, his tone more confident, cloaked in conviction. Ayo's shoulders sagged, fear giving way to reluctant agreement. I never meant to hurt anyone, she admitted, guilt staining her voice. The two stood together, a fragile alliance against their past misdeeds. Then let's do right by them, Bola replied, a prayer silently forming in his heart. Later, back with the family, Ayo and Bola confessed everything. There was anger, yes, but it was tempered by an unwavering belief in the power of forgiveness. We all make mistakes, Mama said, tears welling. But it is in the rising again that we find grace. Kemi watched as Mama embraced Ayo and Bola, their tears merging as easily as water meeting the shore. It was undone, that tangled web, made right by love and understanding. Papa Adebisi led them all in prayer, his voice a soothing balm. Let us never forget who guides us, he intoned, for without God, we are lost. A soft amen passed from lip to lip, laden with hope and humility. In the days that followed, the air in their home seemed lighter, though the scars remained visible. Kemi touched the old Bible Papa left on the living room table, a reminder of where their strength lay. And as dawn broke on a new day, Kemi sat beside Mama, watching the sunrise. The future was uncertain, but in Christ they had found a peace that surpassed all understanding. We're stronger together, aren't we? Kemi whispered. Mama nodded, a small smile gracing her lips. Yes, my child, by His grace we stand.
Thank you so much for listening to this intriguing story. I hope it touched you or taught you something. For more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. And guys, if you'd like to see a part 2, or you have thoughts on what happened, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.